Check one, check two. This is microphone one. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. This is Coach's mic. How's that sound? Check one, check two.
Check 1, 2. Check, check. CTV Sports 1. Yes, no, yeah.
Well, welcome to the Gary Dunn Show from LAGERHEADS. The second time this year we've done a live show from LAGERHEADS, so welcome to everybody on CUTV's YouTube page, CUTV Sports 1. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and I'm joined by Coach Gary Dunn. You're going to hear us in the background right above us here. We're having some technical fun right here from LAGERHEADS. But, Coach, welcome back to LAGERHEADS. I know last time we did this event, it was a lot of fun, and it's great to be able to do it again.
Yeah, excited to be back. Last time it was family weekend. This weekend it's homecoming. So good to be back. I had a lot of questions out already, so excited to be here.
And we only come here for the big events. Like you said, Family Day a couple weeks ago, and now it's hard to believe that was a month ago that we're here just staring down homecoming. But before we talk about homecoming, we're going to look back like we always do at the season and everything in general. And we're going to look back at this past weekend's game, a tough loss at the Coal Bowl. And Coach, that's just, one of those games where, you got two really good college football teams going at each other. And, it was a war for 58 and a half, 60 minutes on Saturday.
Yeah, good college football game. Anytime you go on the road in the PSAC, it's going to be a battle. Obviously, Indiana's 5-0 right now, ranked in the top 20 in the country. They played well enough to win. We played well enough to win at times. We just didn't make enough plays. We gave up a couple big plays defensively. And then, you flip and we get in the red zone, and really the story of the game was we couldn't convert in the red zone. Give IUP credit. They did a great job, that kept us out of the end zone, and that's something obviously that we've worked on this week to try and get better. And we've got to be better in the red zone, but that was really the breakdown of the game. Two really good football teams going at it. They made the plays when they had to, and unfortunately we didn't, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it was a tough 17-6 loss on Saturday, but one of the bright spots on Saturday, your running game was just, taking off chunks of yards against IUP. Nelson Brown over 100 yards rushing, and it just seemed like that was something that, just as a fan watching, that was just a joy to see that, gashing that IUP defense, because coming in all week, you heard how good that front seven was for IUP, and I thought that, the run game handled them really well.
Yeah, obviously we ran the ball really well. It's a credit to the O-line, the tight ends, and running backs, Nelson and Jamorier putting the ball where it needs to go. Our quarterback putting us in the right place sometimes. We do a lot of things where we're going to run one play or the other, and him putting us in the right play. Was happy with the way we ran the ball. Wasn't really overly happy with our execution the entire day, but obviously something that we can build on.
And I tell you what, if you haven't watched the game, like I said, it's just a back and forth battle. It's basically what the Coal Bowl, what it's been for almost 100 years right now. I know it's only been the Coal Bowl for about a decade or so, but there was a moment in that ball game, end of the first half, your team blocks a kick. How much of a boost in just energy and everything was that? Because IP had drove, you were leading 3-0, but to go into halftime with that 3-0 lead off a block kick, that it seems like every week we're talking about a big special teams play or defensive interception. We had both those. Let's talk about that block kick going into halftime.
Yeah, we put a lot of time into our special teams, and we've really been challenging that unit to put pressure on kickers. We don't necessarily talk about blocking kicks, but we talk about affecting kicks and putting it in the mind that we're going to come every time. And our guys, throughout the season, we've gotten better at that, and I think we worked on it today. That's something that we take great pride in. Our guys take great pride in preaching and playing every play, and that's a big play, and was really happy to see that unit go out there and take points off the board. And it did give us a lift going into the half. And our defense, I'm sure we're going to talk about it, played well all day, and that unit right there was big on that block kick.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. The defense, it seems like, again, every week we're talking about a big play that unit comes up with. Big interception, had a chance to, that really flipped momentum at the time, but just a great job, and you'll see on the highlights in a little bit, just a jump route and a great defensive play. And I believe, and don't quote me on this because lights are bright and it's frying my brain right now, but I believe at least one interception in every game this year in 2019.
Absolutely. The defense gave us an opportunity to win the game. They played extremely well at times. We did give up a couple big plays, and that's kind of been IUP's deal. But they battled all day long. I love their energy. I love their effort. We made some adjustments and just competed. At the end of the day, I'm still sitting here kind of aggravated by the whole deal, but it was a good college football game, and unfortunately we came out on the wrong side of it. But our kids played hard and battled all day long, and a tough opponent on the road, and that's definitely something we can build on.
And we have a question from our fans out in Twitter land, and once again, if you're watching this online, go to that Twitter. I sound like I'm 100 years old. Go to Twitter at BlazeCalU account. Ask Coach. Before we ask a question, we'd like to thank the sponsors tonight. Like I said, LAGERHEADS for hosting this wonderful event again. We're going to talk more about what all's going on for homecoming and everything like that. There's a special Vulcan brew that we're going to talk about in a little bit because may or may not have had a sniff of it. It smells very good. Haven't had a taste yet, but it smells very good. But I'd like to thank LAGERHEADS, B Graphics, PSECU, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Dairy Queen, and Action Equipment Center. So thank you very much
Absolutely.
For everything that they do for this event and the Vulcan football program in general.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, and like I said, I thought you were running for governor here. I turn around like almost time for the show and Coach is signing autographs, kissing babies, and talking to the fans. But we have a question from the Twitter universe. There's no name on this, so it also might have came from the bar. The people are watching this in the bar, so hello to everyone in LAGERHEADS. But the question is, Coach, how do you see the season playing out after last week's loss to IUP? I know you kind of touched on it, but more direct. How that was the second game of conference play, and we got some home games, some away games left. But how do you see what we need to
work.
do?
We talked to our guys about a one-game schedule. We're going to put all our effort into our preparation to play that game on Saturday. We're going to play as hard as we can on Saturday, and then we'll look up at the end and see where we're at. When you get back to work on Monday, when the guys come in for our 3 o'clock meeting to go over the game, go over special teams, offense, defense, and then we have a workout Monday night, we've dropped that and we've moved on. That's, we can't get it back. We're worried. We put all our chips in the middle on Clarion this week, and that's the approach we take every week. So, as long as we're giving great effort week in and week out, then we don't really concern ourselves with results, and we sure don't look back. We're ready to play this week.
And we're going to, it's funny you say not look back. We're going to look back briefly to the highlights from last week's game, and then you're going to see a commercial break, and then we're going to have highlights from last year's game against this week's opponent, the Clarion Golden Eagles, and we'll have a special guest in the second half. But there's a lot more happening here on the Gary Dunn Show live from LAGERHEADS. Once again, get the information, get the questions to Coach at BlazeCalU on Twitter, and we'll see if we can answer some questions here before the end of the event. Or if you're in the California area, come down to LAGERHEADS, sample some of the new Vulcan brew. See a lot of happy faces with the Vulcan brew, so it's definitely
great food too. I'm excited to get something to eat after the show.
And if you want to send your local TV host and head coach, we said no pizza, but if you want to send over some lager fries or something, I'm sure we could set it down, and Coach and I will do our best Mifflin chef sampling of it. But stay tuned after the highlights and the break. You're watching the Gary Dunn Show right here live at LAGERHEADS on CUTV Sports 1.
Waiting for this one. Ball on the 11. Here it is. Kick is up. And it is good. CalU takes the lead here. 3-0. 3:23 left in the first quarter of action here. Kick is up. The hold from Tarrant was good. Let's see how it finishes out. And that one will be marked no good here. So CalU unable to get on the boards. They get into the red zone once again. Hold is down. Kick is blocked, and that one is not going to make it through the uprights. CalU able to knock that one away. Maxwell's dropping back to throw. Lone man in the backfield here. He's surveying, scrambling. He's going to let this one fly. Goodness, he's got an arm. And he hits his man. There's a big play. The Crimson Hawks get into the end zone. Touchdown, Dwayne Brown. Shakes out. He's going to go across the middle. It's intercepted. Going down the far sideline, number 6, Julian Cox. He's heading forward, continuing for the end zone, and he's brought down around the 15-yard line.
Julian Cox is the man with the plan right here.
Waiting for the hold. Tarrant has it. Kick is up. We'll see how it goes. And the kick is good. So now CalU trails by 1, 7-6. Hold is down. Kick is up from Sarka. And it is good. So it will be a 10-6 lead for the Crimson Hawks. Visiting side getting excited. Here's Maxwell, drops back to throw, feels some pressure. He's heading to the far side, and that will be a completion there, as it was Jamal Martin Jr., and that will most likely put this one away. Touchdown, Crimson Hawks.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Consider the future. Your future. At California University of Pennsylvania, you can build your life your way because we believe in you. We invest in you, empower you to create the future you envision. We give you the tools and teaching so you can rise up and achieve. Don't settle for someone else's vision of you. Build you at CalU. Visit us at calu.edu.
On the right hash, hand the ball inside to Nelson Brown. Nelson Brown easily gets into the end zone. Ball can strike first here in this one. Takes the snap, does Mitchell. Mitchell looks off to his right to Craig Thompson. Craig Thompson, nice strong hands, pulls that ball in right at the goal line. By Jeff Clemens. Clemens is going to be taken down in the backfield as they look like he may have fumbled on that sack attempt. It will be California football. Mitchell drops back, looks to his left to Tyson Miller. Dumps it down to Nelson Brown in the middle of the field. Nelson Brown trying to get to the end zone, pulls defenders and gets into the end zone. Nelson Brown goes beast mode yet again and gets into the end zone for 6 points. Dropping back to pass, looking off to his right. There's a deep pass there to Chad Livingston. It is a perfect strike to Livingston. Good for a touchdown. What a pass there from Noah Mitchell. Kicks this one away. It looks right through the uprights. Off back to pass. Pressure coming in his face. Gets it across the middle. Is intercepted by who else but Lamont McFadder. McFadder now at the 40, down to the 30. Makes a couple guys miss and tackled down at the 26-yard line. Set the kick. Receives a snap. Kick is up. And the kick is good. Nick Grissom in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to Grissom. Grissom pushes forward and into the end zone. How about that? Have yourself a touchdown, Nick Grissom.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show, live from LAGERHEADS. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and I'm alongside, as always, the namesake of the show, Coach Gary Dunn. And Coach, we just saw highlights of last year's game. But before we get into that, we're going to do some housekeeping. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors for tonight, LAGERHEADS, where we are at. So if you're in town watching this, come on down. Still got a few minutes of the show, and then we're going to be here. I know I'll be here for a while afterwards, sampling the cuisine and stuff. But come on down, meet Coach Dunn. Also, B Graphics, PSECU, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Dairy Queen, and Action Equipment Center. Also like to thank our staff here at CUTV, the Vulcan Nation staff. This is a nice event to come down, like I said earlier. You know, shaking hands, drumming up a lot of support because, you know, this is a big weekend. Homecoming, not only in the football realm, but also campus community and everything like that. And I'll start with the question I always like asking, but I'll answer it first. You know, you're one of the few coaches in the conference that, you know, played at the place he's coaching. What's it like for you as a coach and former player to when you suited up on homecoming as opposed to now, you know, leading out your team on homecoming?
Yeah, it's great, you know, and it's great to be out here tonight. You know, as a college football coach, you dive into a game plan on Sunday and you don't see the light of day really until, you know, I haven't been out in public other than the 2 times we've been down here. So it's great to be out and to see some folks, but it's great to be at home. You know, I think, you know, I've got a text message with 20 guys that I played with that they're all texting who's coming back, who's going to be there, what time you coming. So, it's great to see those guys come back, and it's just special being an alumnus of the university. Both me and my wife Melissa went to school here, so it's fun that we do get to see a lot of people at homecoming that we probably haven't seen in a while, and the excitement on campus is always a good deal.
And I tell you what, Coach, you mentioned the people coming back, and I know ever since you took over the reins of the Vulcan head coach, you look at the sideline on a normal week or just in the stands, the number of former players, and the last couple of homecomings, it's just been growing and growing. So that's great for the Cal family to see all those former players coming back. You gave all those hours and all the fun times coming back and being on the sideline and seeing the team.
Yeah, our alumni have been tremendous since I came back to campus. I know we've talked about in the past, we have the golf outing around the spring game and had our record turnout this year. And then our touchdown club, the guys that donate back to the program and come to games, and they have an alumni tailgate that they have for former football players for every home game. So it's just really special. I think it's a special bond to be a former Cal U football player, and we all kind of stick together. We had an alumni practice today, so it's kind of a special deal, and I couldn't be happier with how our alumni treats us.
Did you suit up today, Coach? Did you put the pads on more time?
All right, there's no more of that, I'll tell you that.
Well, let's shift gears into this upcoming week's opponent, Clarion Golden Eagles. Always seems like you look at their highlights, you look at their stats, an exciting team. We went up there last year. We're not going to say what happened weather-wise because we don't want that happening again this year, but just a heck of an afternoon, with the weather delays and everything, just to keep focused and get that win. And I know you said you've been watching film. What is Clarion on the offensive side of the ball? What do they do to make you worried?
Yeah, Clarion's a really good football team. They're coming in at 3-2 and lost a couple games. One to Shepherd, one to Gannon, but really explosive offense. Probably everything starts with their tailback. Got a really, really good tailback, an experienced offensive line, and they can run the ball. They got a fifth-year senior quarterback, and he's got some weapons outside. I think they're averaging close to 48 points a game that they're scoring right now. They've put points up in every game. Very explosive offense, do a lot of RPO, run, pass, option stuff. So it's going to be a test to defend them. They do a lot of different things to stretch you out, and different formations, different RPOs. They'll run the quarterback some. I mean, they're doing a really, really nice job offensively, and we're going to have our work cut out for us.
Now, flipping the script and flipping the playbook to the other side of the ball, what do they do on defense? What kind of fronts do they run, and what kind of hurdles do you see them being able to throw up?
Yeah, they're a four down front, 2 linebackers, really 5 secondary type guys. They have no problem going man coverage. They have no problem going, total man coverage, cover 0 across the board, and blitzing and coming after you. They've done a nice job of stopping the run so far this year. They've got a couple really, really good defensive linemen. I know they got number 5s and all returning all-conference guy that's really jumps off the film at you. They got a couple young linebackers that are very active and like to blitz, and they cover well on the back end. So, in this league, they're 3-2, and we're 3-2. So that'll tell you they're playing pretty good football right now. I think that, they're an older bunch than probably they've had in years past, and got a nice mix of young kids. But they're playing extremely well right now, so we're going to have to be on our game.
And one more, we're going to ask one more question. We're going to go to Twitter for this. And once again, if you're watching at home, tweet the Blaze Cal U account, and you can ask. Maybe there's still enough time to ask Coach a question. If not, I'm sure through the magic of social media, Coach might answer it. Somebody else might answer it. Somebody will answer it. Yeah. But this is from Al Marks, and it's kind of a long question. How do you keep the team focused so that Clarion doesn't sneak up on the Vulcans as Gannon did last year at homecoming? The Golden Eagles can be a good team, and you kind of address that with they're 3-2 and they're putting points up.
I don't think they could sneak up on us as well as they're playing right now. And, it kind of goes back to the way I answered it earlier. We don't, we're not worried about the next one or the last one. We're worried about this one. We talk to our guys about total focus, about playing the next play and playing the next game. And I think our guys will be ready. We've had a good week of work. We still got some work to do tomorrow. And I believe our guys will be ready.
And that game that Coach and his team will be ready for will be Saturday at 4 o'clock. Late start. The parade will be at noon, and there's a 5K race at 8. So there's events all throughout the day. So make sure to be there at 4 o'clock. And, Coach, that kind of leads me into a little bit of this question. We talked a little bit off camera. 4 o'clock start, does that change anything? I know you have a lot of responsibilities with, the homecoming, anything like that, but, team-wise and schedule-wise, does that really affect anything?
A little bit. You know, what we're going to do is because it's such a late start, we're going to have a walkthrough and a stretch period for our guys at 10 o'clock in the morning. Get up, give them a light breakfast, do a walkthrough and a stretch, and then, you know, we'll jump back on our regular schedule. We always eat 4 hours before the game, so we'll get back together 4 hours before the game, have our pregame meal, get up to the stadium about 2 hours before the game, and from that point it's different, but we are going to get them out of bed in the morning to kind of get them moving, get a stretch going, and you know, start the day a little bit. But they do get to sleep in this week. I'm sure if you polled our guys, they, you know, because these guys put a crazy amount of work in. There's no days where they sleep in. You know, it's work, and so give a chance to sleep in a little bit's not a bad thing either.
And they've been working since really the beginning of August. So this is 3 months in, so I'm sure they're happy about getting a little bit of rest. And before we look at some standings and scores, we got 2 more questions, and I'm going to kind of combine them. They're also once again from Twitter. And the first question is, Coach, there's no name, so I believe these are from LAGERHEADS, either the bar or the restaurant part. But the first part of the question, have you always wanted to come back to Cal to coach? And the second part is, who inspired you to coach?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, to answer the first one, yes, I did want to come back to Cal U and coach. You know, when I was here and ended my playing career, wasn't sure what I was going to do like every other college graduate. You know, what do I want to do? And I was lucky enough for Kevin Donnelly to hire me as a graduate assistant. And from day one, I knew that I wanted to be a college football coach. I didn't want to go out and get a real job. I wanted to be a college football coach. And then it was always in the back of my mind that, hey, if the opportunity ever came up to come back to Cal, I'd love to do that. You know, me and my wife, both our families are from Western Pennsylvania, growing up in Pittsburgh. So a chance to come home and coach here where I played has been awesome. As far as who inspired me to coach, I had a lot of great coaches growing up, from Mr. Dick Frank, my youth football coach, to Johnny Lee, my high school basketball coach, to Greg Gattuso, my high school football coach. You know, seeing those guys operate and how they handled and how they worked with me and other young kids was always something that was in the back of my mind. You know, probably missing Lou Ciro, a guy that's still the head coach at Montour, was my offensive line coach in high school. Terry Totten, who's still the head coach at Central Catholic, was my defensive coordinator in high school. So I was influenced by a lot of guys. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody there, but a lot of guys growing up that, you know, Tom Frank, my grade school basketball coach, just a lot of guys put a lot of time into athletics, and all those guys really, you know, taught me how to be a good coach.
And that's basically who's
I don't want to forget
coaches,
one, Coach Petrucci, that recruited me here. Coach was awesome to me, recruited me as an undersized center, and was really good to me. And then obviously finished my career with Coach Donnelly, who gave me my first job. So a lot of guys influenced me.
And that's the kind of questions you can only, or the only answers to questions you can only get if you tweet them out. Once again, the at Blaze Cal U account. And now we're going to transition over to some standing scores from the past week in action, the PSAC. Then we're going to have a special guest, alumni director Ryan Barnhart, to sneak in here. But we're going to look at some graphics right now. We're going to look at the scoreboards from this past week's action. So you're going to see on the screen right now, Cal IUP, we talked about that, 17-6. Edinburgh and Gannon in a really big, or really close game, 18-17. Slippery Rock over Mercier. So that game was close early, but Slippery Rock pulls it out 45-14. And then Seton Hill and Clarion. Clarion defeating Seton Hill 42-16. On the other side, in the PSAC, over in the PSAC East, Shepherd on Thursday night against Lock Haven, winning 62-28, game I actually watched a little bit of. East Stroudsburg over Millersville 50-7. Westchester getting by Shippensburg 29-21, and Kutztown over Bloomsburg 27-12. And we're going to take a look now at the PSAC standings right now. And Coach, we can't see them, so through the magic of television, you don't have to look at them. I know that's your favorite part of this show is looking at standings and stuff, but we see IUP, Slippery Rock, and Caillou at the top. IUP and Slippery Rock 2-0, and then a bunch of 1-1s, and then over on the other side of the column, 5-0, 5-0, 3-2. So very close in the PSAC West, and looking over in the PSAC East, it's a 3-horse race right now between East Stroudsburg, Kutztown, and Westchester, all 5-0 and 2-0. And we're going to look quickly before we bring Ryan on at the upcoming schedule in the PSAC, so then we can concentrate talking with Ryan at the end. We see the top schedule right there, the main game of the week, California and Clarion at 4 o'clock. Parade, once again, will be at noon. And then the Kickoff will be at 4 o'clock, and in between there will be DJs and all kinds of things.
All kinds of stuff going on.
I heard you were going to get on the microphone, probably spin some tunes up there at the stadium.
I'm going to be a little busy.
And then IEP Slippery Rock, a huge game in the West. And over in the East, you have, I guess, Shippensburg, Kutztown, or Bloomsburg Western. But 2 Titanic contests in the West, Clarion Caillou. Bring on.
I feel like I'm on the Johnny Carson show. I'm going to slide over and bring Ryan Barnhart in.
Yeah, Alumni Director Ryan Barnhart. Ryan, welcome to be at the Coach Gary Dunn show right here.
It's an honor and a pleasure. All mine.
I think this is our first guest that we've had since I've been doing the show with you.
I think so. We got a studio audience. We got guests. We might need a band next week. Get the band in there. But Ryan, you wear many hats during this week, and it seems like I hate to see your gas bill from going back and forth everywhere. But if you just want to talk a little bit about, like, for Alumni Director, what else goes on? We were talking mainly about the football game, but there's probably, I'll say the number 100 events, but in your head there's probably more than that events. But just talk a little bit about what has been going on this week to bring alumni back to campus.
It definitely seems like that, and Coach Dunn put it very succinctly when he said that it's the Super Bowl of alumni events for us this weekend. So it's the 70th anniversary of homecoming. So 1949 is the first year that Caillou celebrated a homecoming. So this is our 70th anniversary. This Friday we kick it off at the Meadows at Bisteca for an all-alumni reunion. So we're inviting all of our alumni, no matter what year you graduated, to come out for that. That starts at 7 p.m. And then Saturday is really the main event. We have the party on the patio at 11:30. That leads into the parade at noon, and then our big tailgate at 1 o'clock. We have DJ Bonix as our headliner. We also have a lot of giveaways. We have homecoming merchandise available for purchase that benefits scholarships and legacy projects on campus. And more importantly, we have Caillou Brew, which is a passion project of mine. Tonight at LAGERHEADS, and this weekend they'll be handing it out. It's through our partners at Laurel Highlands Brewing. 2 of the owners are alumna of the university, so they partnered with us to create Caillou Brew. It's kind of like an IPA with some fruity notes of raspberry, but you can get it at LAGERHEADS this weekend or taste it at the tailgate. We also have food trucks. DJ Bonix is our headliner, and that all leads up to 4 o'clock with kickoff at Clarion.
So you haven't slept this week, I'm guessing?
No.
Who slept more, you or Coach? Because I know Coach never sleeps.
A lot of no-dos, a lot of coffee from Quick Fill, and a lot of sweat equity this week.
Well, I tell you, Ryan does a great job. We've partnered on some different projects together, and I try and make as many of his events as I can. I'll be at the Meadows this Friday, but helps us with our golf outing. I mean, I don't know how he gets it done with all the things he's doing. I was out in, last summer in Philadelphia.
Oh, Philadelphia, we had a Phillies game.
We had an alumni reunion at the Phillies game that we went to, so I mean, I think he should take next week off. I don't know.
Well, that was the plan, but open house is on Monday, so, I don't know. Maybe Tony Morrow's listening and tell me I'll take some of that time off.
Yeah, I think you may not want to charge your phone that night. Just let the alarm
go to dead.
I'll put a word in for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
But, and Coach mentioned that you partner with a lot of groups on campus. You helped us this summer with the radio station. You've done a great job just engaging the alumni, and I know I was mentioning Coach before because I know we've had some audio issues here, but bringing back a lot of football alumni and contacting with you, it's just great. I know for me, I graduated. I'm not going to say the year because I'm only 21.
Hi, Golden Gary.
That's it. It's been a few years, but just seeing the alumni that you've been able to engage and bring back for the past, from the past 20, 30 years, is great to seeing, everybody back. And I know, Coach, you got to love seeing all those faces, current Vulcan fans, and maybe future Vulcans in the stands.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. Like I said earlier, our alumni support has been tremendous since I came back, and to have those guys back and have them at the tent on the sideline during the games and it's great for our players to see that. It's great for our players to understand that it's bigger than them, right? And it's about a brotherhood of guys that have played here and continue to support the new guys. So it's a lot of fun.
And one of the new things this year for homecoming is the 5K race. Sure. My application for the race got lost online, so I won't be there running the 5K. But where did that idea come from? Because this is the first year that has been done.
Sure. So our recreation services department on campus has a number of running courses of different lengths. So we decided that this year would probably be a good opportunity for us with the second year of Vulcan Fest and the 70th anniversary of homecoming to really promote that. So that's where the Vulcan Fest 5K came up. That starts Saturday morning at 8 a.m. You can register on the day of the race. It's only $25. We have nice medals and T-shirts. That's a nice start off to the day. And then the party continues. We've got a bunch of stuff. I'm giving free beer away, folks. So, come have a beer on me at the tailgate. We'll be there all day. Try the Cal U brew. And really just, we're trying to build this alumni brand and make homecoming the weekend you come back if you're any way affiliated with Cal U. So for those our alumni that are listening, we definitely want to see your face. Come say hi, grab some gear, and have a good time.
And real quickly, where can people find out online on social media? I know you've had a lot of social media ambassadors and everything like that, because and a lot of them are people I've got. I'm like, geez, was there a meeting or something that I missed?
Yeah.
Where can they find information online?
It's cool. I begged, borrowed, and pleaded for people to, help us out. But you can go to vulcanfest.com or follow the hashtag VulcanFest19 on social media and see the updates and check the whole schedule out.
All right, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to a lot of events. The 5K is not going to be one of them.
Neither am I. So, okay.
Yeah. But since you're the first guest on the Gary Dunn Show, it seems only fitting to get to ask the last question.
Sure.
And I know this came from possibly the bar. I don't know, but we'll let you ask it because I know Coach was eyeing that up earlier, so I'm just going to step out and see what happens.
All right, so Coach, since you were number 53 in college, does that mean number 53 on the team is your favorite?
He asked the same question last time, didn't he?
I think he's looking for a good answer.
We're not right now. My favorite is whoever plays the best each week. Right, so if someone could ask me that question Saturday after the game, maybe I'd have a better answer.
I'm going to plug Jimmy Pierce just because he works for me in my office,
right.
But that's neither here nor there. Number 39 on the program.
He's dying for me to answer that question.
Hey, if we do this again this year, maybe we'll get an answer. But once again, thanks to Lagerhead and all the sponsors, Lagerheads and B Graphics, PSECU, Berkshire, Hathaway, Home Services, Dairy Queen, Action Equipment Center, the alumni offices here, the Vulcan Nation tailgate, and all the fine students. We had CTV here, coaches here. I think some of your team was here earlier eating. So I'm not sure if there's anybody on campus. So
nice night out, I'll tell you. I haven't been out in public in a while. So
it's great to have you out, Coach, and Ryan. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely.
Come out this Saturday, 8 o'clock for the alumni or for the 5K race. Like I said, my bib is lost in the mail. I pulled a muscle. My alarm's not going to go off. But check out all the messages, all the online places Ryan said.
VulcanFest.com.
VulcanFest.com. Thank you. Go to all the events. It's going to be a great weekend. Parade at noon. The concert or the DJs before the game at the tailgate, and then 4 o'clock kickoff. That's be there, be loud. I know Coach and his team love seeing the running back.
Absolutely.
So for Brian Barhart, Gary Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. You've been watching the Gary Dunn Show live here from Loggerheads, and we'll see you on Saturday.